For the ordinary person, this situation, I would say, is a little bit complicated. The whole complicacy lies in the fact that actually no person knows how to deal with a knife. You know, when the person sees the gun or the knife pointed at him, this person may forget everything he knows about this. Just everything he used to know, used to think before, just forget. So he may even forget that he has his knife with his own. For example, lying in his pocket. So I tend to feel like he will be incapable of taking his knife out. Another matter considers the fact when we are dealing with the expert who knows how to deal with a knife and who is ready for such a situation. In such a case, working with a knife on the short distance in the close range, the person may do whatever he wishes. For example, everything begins with the fact you may just throw your knife at the person. And it's not really important whether you hit the target with your knife, whether the knife goes deeper penetrating into the target or not. You know, when the person has the gun, whilst you are having your knife, you have only two variants. Either to evade from a knife or to shoot. Well, you know, as it is said, at court, everyone is for himself. So he cannot use his gun, he may not shoot. When he feels he is stabbed with a knife, he will think whether the knife is in his body or not. And at this moment, he will have enough time just to flee, to go away. The second idea considers you are meeting the person who knows how to throw the knife. And the knife is already in the body of the criminal. And of course, such a wound doesn't give any opportunity for your opponent to shoot. And this helps you to shorten the distance and disarm him. Talking about the far and middle distances, your knife may help you, of course. But still, this is really problematic. Because the movement with your hand is swift, whilst the waving motion is long. That's why you have to be aware of the other methods. And the bodyguards and the ordinary people, the average people, should be aware of those things. But you have to know how to use pendulum motions being shooted. All those things are not taught in our schools. That's why, unfortunately, this requires, first of all, people who know how to do that. And secondly, it requires really disciplined, hard-working training. You know, this discipline is not connected with the average person, who usually take 1 to 2 seminars per year. But this may save your life. Talking about the application of the knife, both in the close range and on the other distances, as the element of disarming, because when you see the person armed with a gun, you may of course ask him to put it down, but still you can stab your opponent, you can make him feel the painful shock and forget about his gun. You may even kill him with your knife. And you know, when you have a knife and your opponent has a gun, you won't exceed a measure of admissible defense. Because according to the law, he cannot kill you, whilst you can. Once again, by this, you're not exceeding the measure of admissible defense. And when the police comes, when they see that you have a knife and he has a gun, the idea will be the same. So here we have so plenty of methods working at the close range, helping by means of knife both disarm your criminal and kill him. And do that faster rather than he does. He uses his gun. One more idea to consider is that actually any average person is acquainted with a knife, but he's not acquainted with a gun. From this, we may draw a conclusion a very definite conclusion that looks as follows. The person with a gun is afraid of a knife, whilst the target that sees the gun pointed at him may not be afraid. Because, this helps you to realize that maybe the chances are equal. And some people may even think that the others won't use their gun for shooting, because shooting may easily put them into prison. There are the other majorities to know that do not help the person using his gun. So, depending on the fact who is standing in front of us, either a professional killer or the average person, we may draw different conclusions. For example, when we have the person who just bought the gun in order to make you get frightened, that's, let me say, just another story. So, you have only several seconds to realize who is standing in front of you. Because depending on that who, depending on that image, you have to know what to do next. Either to kill him, or stop him, or simply disarm him. Having stopped being this beast, having again become just an ordinary citizen, he will easily go to police and write the police report. So usually people who are carrying their guns with them, who are afraid for their life, they really love themselves. And when you offend his feelings, he will of course try to say that he didn't want to shoot you. It's just a stupid situation in which you were just acting like a criminal, wanting to make him an invalid. So all those things are actually the points of disadvantage that may harm you. That is, first of all, you have to take certain judicial training. And secondly, you have to be aware of what you're doing. That's why you have to meet certain experts in your life, helping you to know these facts. Moreover, you have to owe certain wish and desire to work, to be disciplined, to train yourself, to perfect yourself. Let's see what we can do. First of all, I don't realize the way this non-trained person looks like. In case he knows nothing, such situation may never take place. He always knows something. He has some idea, and he has something with himself, certain type of sack or handbag, because people walking down the street always have something with them. So, as far as the recommendations are concerned, I would recommend to buy a bag, either 511 Tactical. They have very good bags, just like Covered Zap, something like this. Watch those models, or another type of bag that has special place, the place in which you can put the bulletproof plate inside. You have to put this bulletproof plate in such a way so it may prevent you receive a bullet. Again, such a bullet like is 9mm parabellum bullet. So this plate should be good enough to stand against such a bullet. So put this plate inside your bag, close it, and use such a handbag. So right in the moment when you see the gun pointed at you, rotate your bag in such a way that looks like it's your own shield. So it might help you not to be shooted and not to get murdered. These are my pieces of recommendation. Because, walking down the street wearing the bulletproof vest, it's just ridiculous. Whilst a handbag is such a thing that is usually exploited. It's like a daily routine wearing a bag. And plates may vary. There are even light-weighted ones. You may easily get carried. So you may, once again, easily buy a handbag and put inside such a bulletproof plate. And on the one hand, it's a bag. On the other hand, it's a thing that may help you to protect yourself. Even when you are facing the person holding a gun or a knife, still, it may easily get switched into a shield. And for the criminal who tries to attack you, it will be a real barrier, a real obstacle that may help your life, that may help you stay alive. Moreover, I would recommend you to carry with you a certain type of whistle, like a police whistle. Once again, put this whistle into your pocket of your handbag. Then, at the moment of danger, just take your whistle and whistle. Because criminal, having heard this whistling sound, he may just disappear. Because such people are really afraid of sounds. So, summing up, such a bag or a handbag with a bulletproof plate and a whistle may really help the person who is not aware of what should he do. So, having bought such a handbag, having bought a whistle, use your whistle. Don't forget to use it. Moreover, you can put a small petard in your handbag. Just like some entertaining petard lots of people are using everywhere. Even better to take the imitator of grenade. And when you see those people trying to take out their knives and guns, you can easily use this petard or this imitating grenade and show them. A person haven't seen the imitator grenade, they may get really scared. And when the person know what that means, they run away. People who do not know what that means, they may see what it can do. And you will see that having thrown such a petard, people may run to the right side, whilst their knives will be just on the ground. Talking about stupor, this is actually straightforwardly connected with psychology. And it's so much complicated to recommend me something in this field, because psychological training is a really decent and unterrible part of any training of the police department employee, whilst the average people, they even do not realize they require those things. That's why they do not think they have to get trained on such a basis. That's why he may face a stupor, that's it. And here we can do nothing. Having trained to pay the attention right on the dot of his head, maybe it may help him, but the others still may catch the stupor and live in stupor. Of course, we may try finding certain instructors, experts, people helping us to know how to work with stupors. We can do that. Or we can just start praying to God and wait until he helps us. Well, here, from the one hand, there is nothing complicated, whilst on the other, it's so much complicated. Because professionals, they easily watch the character of motions taken by the opponents. And by this, they can easily judge whether this is an expert or just an ordinary guy. Whilst when we're talking about non-professionals, the amateurs, it's useless thinking in such a field. Because safety, it's like a real science. It's a real notion requiring training. Moreover, we're talking about the training not from time to time, but every day from morning till night. Moreover, training requires 3 or 4 times per week, or even every single day, several hours. We cannot talk about fitness. We cannot talk about jogging or jumping, something like this. We're talking about real practice with a knife. When you take your knife, when you take your partner, or you take your gun and take your partner, and you start modeling certain situations and trying to know how to work with them. Moreover, it's so much better to find a good teacher who may help you and provide you with the knowledge how to survive in such a situation. Furthermore, you require a real system helping you to be applied and to survive. So I would totally recommend, despite of going to certain sport gyms and trying to play into the martial art systems, it's so much better to take the other school, like the bodyguard school or something else, to take a real safety life surviving course. Because there are so many sportsmen, and sportsmen do train in the sport gyms, but sportsmen are not good in safety. They have nothing to do with a science of security and personal safety. That's why it's so much easier to take your knife and cut into pieces those sportsmen. So the main idea still is in the fact that when the person really is good in martial arts for a long period of time, so when a well-trained person meets the other who is just too impudent and weighs with his fists, and of course when he takes a knife and stabs such an impudent person that may even get killed, we are always facing the situation that such impudent people even do not realize they may get stabbed and may get murdered. So this impudency brings the person into the fatal situations. But actually those situations and those finale are actually quite logical endings of this unexcessive bravade. Talking about the complex security and personal safety, this is the thing one has to practice every single day. Talking about the gun, you have to practice how to shoot twice a week or even more, etc., etc., etc. When you are for more than 15 or 20 years involved into this practice, of course, you should choose. It doesn't require training every single day, but still, you can do this 3 or 4 times a day. But when you're not professional and when you really require those skills, you really have to try hard to take these skills and practice them as soon as just possible.